Oh, welcome to the Gov Shack. Yes, it has been a while since I have done a Gov Shack. Probably about 3 or 4 years since I've done one. We did a bunch of them back in 2018. So many of them in 2018, maybe 30 or so, and only a couple in 2022. So not that many in 2022. We don't want to talk about that year. Let's start off now. This is the 35th installment of the Gov Shack, which for those of you who don't know, I got this idea initially from actually Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York, when he used to do a weekly show on, I believe it was John Gambling's show, Thursdays at 10 a.m. On WOR radio. So I decided to copy that. He would actually take phone calls, chat with people about New York City. And I thought, what a great idea. So I'll do it. So I'm doing it now, 8 p.m. Monday, Eastern, that is, because I'm in New York, 8 p.m., talking about issues that we're dealing with as we move towards the race for the governorship. Next year, 2026, my third run and critical run. So if you like what I'm doing, then click the like button. The button, I was like, why? I need more people to understand what I'm doing, more people to rock and roll, more people to care about this. So please do so. And also, if you would, please share this. Repost this. Look, this is like political stuff, right? So if you have some kind of Facebook page that's political or such, do me a favor then, and please share this. It does matter. Every little bit will count. So jump on board if you can make that happen. I'd appreciate that. All right. What did I want to talk about today? Something important. There is a current governor of New York. Yes, there is. Her name is Kathy Hochul. You may or may not know that. Most of you do. I know you do. And that's okay. I'm glad that you do. She has decided that she now loves Zohran Mamdani. Who knew? She loves him now. And I guess that's a good thing. Maybe. But supposedly now she loves Zohran Mamdani. Good. Maybe. But she recently had a short stint, I should say, at a large rally that he had here in Queens. Yes, my borough, because, of course, Mamdani is my assemblyman. So, of course, he was home for his big rally, and boy, did he pack the joint. He definitely packed the joint. That's for sure. So let me, if I could, show you a little bit of what that was so you can understand what she did and how she did it. And you may or may not enjoy it, but I think together we will. I'm going to cover a bunch of pieces that I think are important from this and why this matters for New York. This is yesterday in Queens. She's on fire.
Hello, New York.
All right. Now, this girl's on fire. That's the song they use for her now because she's the girl on fire, I guess, because they want to freeze the rent behind her. So I want to be clear. This is Kathy Hochul, who has endorsed Zohran Mamdani, who has endorsed universal childcare, who has endorsed making buses fast and free, who has endorsed freeze the rent. Now, if you're a Democrat, I'm assuming you would want these things. It makes sense to me, I guess, right? I get that. But she hadn't done that before. Now she has. And who does she have next to her? You won't know who these people are, but I do. The person who is on her right, your left, if you're listening to the two other people who came up with her, the one that is Andrea Stewart-Cousins. She runs the Senate. And the person to your right, her left, is a guy named Carl Heasties. That guy runs the Assembly. You might go, wow, now we have people who run stuff and they love him too. If he loses next week, there's going to be some egg on their face. That is for sure, because they have finally jumped on board. I guess now we're going to be freezing the rent now, I guess.
Here we are, everyone. It is great to see everyone. Tonight.
Now, the first, what you might be saying is, why are they yelling at her right now? Okay. They're yelling at her right now, tax the rich. That's what they're yelling. Tax the rich. Tax the rich. That's what they're yelling right now. Mamdani's people, as you know, want to tax the rich. The three people up there, they're all rich. So what they're saying is, tax you guys, tax you guys, tax you guys. That's what they're actually doing. I don't know why she showed up to this. And this is what I talk about her often. People who know her, so this is how she works. She shouldn't have come. There's no need. You don't see Chuck Schumer here, right? He didn't show up. No, he didn't show up. She's she's ahead in every way possible. The only people who are challenging her right now, I mean, in her own party, are nobody really. I mean, her lieutenant governor, no shot of doing anything, right? Nothing. Her biggest competition is probably AOC, who's also there, who, by the way, did a very good job. You guys know I'm not a AOC fan. It doesn't take away the fact that she does have charisma, particularly compared to most Democrats. Compared to most Democrats, AOC has a lot of charisma relative to her world. She has done a good job in that regard. So she decides to show up. Why? Because Kathy Hochul cannot not show up. And she brings people. And you can see how she does not know where she is because she's accustomed to always being in very, very nice, everyone's kissing her butt, very friendly audiences. And boy, this will not work.
Tonight, we are here for...
No one's talking. She's going, tonight, we're here. And they're like, tax the rich. I'm sorry. Tax you guys. Tax you guys.
One reason.
One reason.
Are you with me? Do you want to elect Zohran Mamdani as the next mayor of New York? Well, then I'm in the right place.
Boy, she's killing it.
So doing.
Yeah,
so
tell me.
Doing.
What happens when you so do it?
Electing him as our 111th mayor, we will change the course of history.
Okay.
And it needs to be changed.
Yeah, if only from the people who are in charge now. Oh, wait, that's me. Yeah.
Because right now, I don't mean to take you all down to a dark place because this has been a really uplifting experience.
It has been.
Right
She's
now,
right.
our city and our state and our country are under attack by Donald Trump and the Republicans in Washington.
So the part that bothers me here is if I had been there, and you guys who've watched me watch how I will edify or support somebody. I don't show up and then attack the other, but she doesn't know any better. And she also doesn't want to say that many good things about Mamdani because she doesn't believe them. Even if it were me, I can say something nice about the guy. If I had to show up and talk about him, clearly I don't believe in his policies. I would have said, I'm so proud to be here supporting Zohran Mamdani. He is a man who has shown his courage, his ability to fight against the establishment. All true, right? Again, whether or not I agree with his policies, that's what I would have immediately started with. He could fight the establishment. You can see his bravery, and he has answers for real problems in New York State. All true. That is how you edify somebody. That is how you do it in politics. I did it right now, and I don't even like the guy's policies. I happen to know Mamdani. You guys know I had him on my show. I've interviewed him before. I'm not mad at him. I disagree with his policy. I don't want to freeze the rent, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I can't do that if I'm asked to step up. This is an issue I bring up often in the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party and most independent parties have a problem knowing how to edify others. Very often they'll show up and say, let me tell you what I think about stuff, or these other guys are bad, or in the case of the Libertarian Party, let me tell you why government's bad. This is grandstanding. This is grandstanding, right? You want to be able to actually say, hey, here is why this guy is good, what we're going to achieve. For those of you who stay in politics, I hope some of you do, if you ever speak for someone, this is how you edify somebody. Some of you did this for RFK Jr. last year. You've seen me do it for Gary Johnson 1,000 times, right? I did it for Lars Mapstead when he was running, right? You're supposed to be able to edify somebody else, show how valuable they are. She can't do it. Now, why does that matter? Because it shows you as a person, her personally, someone who should be able to do this, someone who's been in politics for over 20 years. She doesn't have the empathy to do it. She's so selfish, she can't do it. If you've been in politics for 20 years, you should know that. Now, some guy off the street doesn't know that. I get it. They're not in politics 20 years. She's in politics for decades. She's seen it how many times? And she can't do it. It's not in her personality. Why did she show up when clearly she should not have shown up? She could not do it. It's not in her personality. I tell you often that politics is petty. Exhibit A. She is right there doing the same thing as she always does. She will do what she always does, gender bait or race bait or whatever she'll do, one of those things. She'll do what she always does, push the establishment as being valuable and important, as she always does, not knowing her audience at all. Now, why doesn't she know her audience? Again, a severe lack of empathy. You don't know your audience. Know your audience. Again, but Larry, how can she? She's been in politics 20 years. She's not someone off the street. If I asked one of you watching, hey, go do this, you probably couldn't do it well because you haven't done it before. Unless you've done it before, obviously. You couldn't do it well. She should be able to. This shows her personality. And again, shows no answers. In reality, to be very full with you, if I'm the governor next year and Mamdani wins next week, if he does, and I'm the governor next year, I can work with him better than she can. What? Larry, you're a libertarian. He's a socialist, democratic. So how can you? Because here's the reality. Her outcome and his outcome is different. My outcome and his outcome is the same. What you might say about Mamdani is his ideas are bad or wrong. His outcome's the same that I want. I want a better New York. I want a more affordable New York. I want that. She doesn't. How do I know she doesn't? Because she's been in government for decades and she doesn't have it. That's how I know she doesn't. Because she's been in government for decades and it hasn't happened. She doesn't have a policy to do so. So actually, while they may be on the same team theory and in theoretically both lefties or both Democrats in theory, in practice, they're actually at odds, which is why they're yelling at her, which is why they're not happy with her, which is why she can't edify him. She has no idea her audience and doesn't even care. She's here so she can get more press. And she thought it was going to be a much more positive audience. Why? Because Democrats, so they love me, because they have to, because I'm the queen. And these people don't care. The reality of it is now, you could work with Mamdani if you want the same outcomes. You can't if you don't.
They're literally not just taking a wrecking ball to the White House. They're taking a wrecking ball to our very values, our people, and our progress.
So immediately she says, you know what? I don't know what to do. So you know what? Orange man bad. There we go. Orange man bad. Bronner, thank you, says, I'm 60 years old, and in my lifetime, it seems and the overwhelming majority of politicians lack empathy. I believe they're all psychopathic, literally no empathy. I'm going to say something which some of you already know. There's a reason why most people don't run again and again and again. There's a reason why they don't. Because to do this job, you have to be able to survive in a sewer. Survive with people like her and the two horrible people next to her. Oh, Larry, you just called the Speaker of the House and the Leader of the Senate, Majority Leader, terrible people? Yes, I did. Yes. Carl Hayes is a terrible human being, and so is Andrew Steele Cousins. They are bad people who have wrecked the state. They have been in government for over 20 years. I think she's 18 or 19, him 24, 25, something like that. They're terrible people who've been wrecking this state for decades and don't care. So you're right. Many of them are, because that's how you survive this. If you have empathy, sometimes you see why I get so angry. Yes. Or why I come up with ideas and why I can edify someone who I disagree with. Empathy. Most of them can't do it. You are correct. This world brings people in who lack empathy. Sorry. This world keeps people in who lack empathy. It brings in people with empathy and they leave and don't come back. Many of them you've seen come in once and go away. Only people like me stay because I'm crazy. I actually have some empathy. I'm not sociopathic yet. Maybe one day, not yet. This may ruin me. And Brano, you'll be the first to go, oh, they got Larry. You'll know. Yes, that could happen one day. Maybe it will. So, yeah. Jonathan says, Larry, you are head and shoulders above her. It's just a shame. California could be in a similar situation with Katie Porter. Yes, Katie Porter also clearly has some empathy issues. But the sad part is we sometimes want that because we want anyone to fight. It's a valid point, Jonathan. Thank you for that.
Get this. Donald Trump literally said the shutdown is about killing Democratic priorities. Now, what are those priorities?
Now, her answer is Donald Trump said killing blah, blah. This is the same woman who said, if you vote Republican, her words, if you vote Republican, you are anti-American and anti-woman. What she said. She's the one who said, if you're a conservative in New York, please get on a bus and go to Florida. She said that. So Miss I Love the World has told a chunk of our population that you're anti-woman, you're anti-American, and you should please leave the state, get in a bus and leave. But you know what? Donald Trump said bad things too, so I guess we're even.
This gets bad. This gets bad.
It's bad. Why are you saying it then?
Killing food assistance for babies.
Okay. Here's the part that I keep bringing up. You're the governor of New York. You don't have a budget effective that can feed our children. You are proud of that. You should be ashamed.
Yeah, it really sucks. Killing
sucks.
Money for seniors to pay their utility bills.
Why are utility bills so high? Why haven't you made it? You run utility bills. Literally, she is the one who decides utility bills. Why hasn't she fixed those? So every time she says something that's so bad about the federal government, she's telling on herself. This is a self-report. So as she lists everything, she's going, I am incompetent. I am incompetent. I've done nothing to help. I'm incompetent.
Killing health care for New Yorkers already struggling to take care of their own lives.
Yeah, they're struggling. If only there was someone in charge who could make a better environment so they wouldn't struggle. Oh, that would be you.
I mean, it even meant killing Planned Parenthood until we came in with money to keep it alive. Because they don't give a damn.
Oh, that one you had cash for. Oh, you had money for that one. Oh, okay. So for the charity, the nonprofit, if you want to support Planned Parenthood, you should be able to. It is a nonprofit, and if you want to put your dollars and it matters to you to support that nonprofit, you should be able to. But she decided that the government programs for the babies and childcare and education, no. But the nonprofit, which anyone can support if they want to, she had money for that. I want you to understand what she just said. This is a virtue signaling government. That's all it is. Now, again, if you like Planned Parenthood and you think it's important, it's a nonprofit. You can write a check to them anytime you want. You rich people, there's tons. These people are wealthy. Every one of them, every one of the people you're looking at right now, they're all multimillionaires. In fact, Governor Hochul and her husband are both multimillionaires. If they love Planned Parenthood, why don't they write a check to it? It's a nonprofit. But there's other ones, government programs. You don't write checks to those, do you? Right? Isn't that like taxpayer dollars and such? Does the government pay for that? Oh, those you don't have the money for. But you got money to give to a nonprofit because what does that do? Planned Parenthood in New York State. For those you don't know, if you live in New York State, you know this. If you don't live in New York State, a woman's right to choose is codified in law and our Constitution. It's utterly safe in every way, shape, or form. There is literally, not maybe, literally zero chance of a woman's right to choose to be affected in my state. Now, I know in other states that isn't true, and it depends on where you are. But this is New York City and New York State. She's running for governor, as am I, in New York State. In our state, there is zero chance of a woman's right to choose to be affected. It is just performative. And if all of a sudden Planned Parenthood had no money, there are literally hundreds of multimillionaires in New York State who would write a check to it next week. Again, hundreds of them, maybe thousands, but surely hundreds, maybe thousands of multimillionaires in my state that would write a check to Planned Parenthood tomorrow. They wouldn't think twice. This is performative. So she has taxpayer dollars for a nonprofit that's performative, that has no chance in New York State, again, I'm being very specific, in New York State, of having any problems whatsoever. Zero chance. But she doesn't have the money for the rest because Donald Trump's evil. She is performative. It is just virtue signaling. That's all it is.
Damn, about women and their health care and their rights to an abortion. They also
Again, totally performative. In New York State, not an issue.
killing.
I want to be clear. It's codified in law and our Constitution. Codified.
Major infrastructure projects putting tens of thousands of hard-working union members out of work. Oh,
see that?
Friends, it gets worse.
Gets worse.
What about the ICE agents flooding our streets as we speak?
If only there was someone like a governor. What if there was someone who like controlled the state? A person, one person, who maybe we'd all vote on. Who, if they thought something like that was happening, could maybe negotiate or talk to or threaten or whatever's appropriate to stop that from happening if you cared so much. Oh, there is. It's you, and you didn't do it. You went down and talked to Donald Trump to try to convince him, and he laughed at you. That's what actually happened. Even Curtis Sliwa said it. You got to negotiate with this guy. He doesn't care. Yes, Cuomo said it too. Cuomo would have negotiated. You know who won't negotiate? She won't. She won't. No empathy. She doesn't understand Donald Trump at all. She could have stopped this. This was stoppable. She didn't. This was her incompetence.
Canal Street, Queens, the Bronx, they're everywhere, and they're terrorizing innocent people.
Yeah, it's weird how they're doing that. If only there was someone who could maybe oh, it's you. By the way, for those who don't know, what they're also yelling at her, I'm not joking. They first yelled tax the rich. Now what they're yelling at her now is do something. Yes, the cat calls you here are do something, do something. She's the governor. The funny part is that you could actually walk out onto a stage like this without any fear, without anywhere, with no shame, and just say, yeah, this state sucks. It's terrible. I'm running it. Yeah, but it's terrible. This state, oh, what a disaster this state is. Let me give you some more bad news why the state's so bad. Yeah, who's running this? Who's running this terrible joint? Oh, that's me. Yeah. If I were her, and this was my second year, well, her, it's like a fifth year, but it's my second or third year and it was still going this bad, I would be apologetic. I'd be saying, I can't believe how many things have failed. I would be changing course completely if I was this bad.
And we have had enough. Now,
had enough.
Now, Donald Trump says, oh, we're going after the worst of the worst, the baddest of the bad. They're splitting up families. And let me tell you this actually happened. They took away mothers of babies who were nursing them and separated them.
See that? These guys are taking away moms from the babies. That's how bad they are. Wow.
This is how cruel they are.
God, if only someone could do something about it.
Okay. How do you top that?
How do you?
Now, no, it continues. It's going to continue.
I am a terrible governor. I gotta tell you, I'm really bad. Like you thought I was a shitty governor? No, I'm really bad. Like I'm terrible. You're already mad at me. Tell me to tax the rich. Tell me to do something. But I got stuff on a sheet of paper. I'm gonna keep talking because I have no empathy and I can't figure this out.
It's all bad. Now,
yes, it's all bad. You're right.
Going after our Attorney General Tish James.
See that?
They go after Tish James.
Yeah.
They can come after any of us.
Whoa. Didn't Donald Trump say that? Didn't Donald Trump say the same thing? They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. Didn't he say that? So when Trump said it, it was evil. But when you say it, it's not evil. Let me be very clear. When both people said it was bullshit. They weren't coming after us. They will go after Trump. They're not going after us. They go after Tish James. This is personal, petty vendettas. To be forward, the charge against Trump were BS, and the charge against Tish James are BS. They're both BS. The only reason why I'm okay with Tish's now is because of what she did to Trump. They should have never charged Trump, and they should have never charged Tish James. This was something very simple you could have dealt with just fines and fees and moved on. If in reality, fines and fees, move on. This does not require any of that stuff for either of them. Anyway.
But here's what they did not count on. Here's what they did not count on.
Oh, they didn't count on something. What did it not count on? I love that. Bronna says, do something. I farted. Did it help? Well, it was the same outcome as what she did. So you might as well be governor. That's what I would say, Bronna. The same outcome, you might as well be governor. That's what I would say. I hope that's helpful.
They always forget this about us.
What's that?
When we get punched, we fight back, and we fight back hard.
Utterly not true. The lockdowns prove that. That's just stuff she says. What's the fight back? There is none. What's the thing she's doing to fight back? She isn't. Where is her defense against Donald Trump? There is none. Where is the defense against lockdowns? As a state, there were individuals, but as a state, there was none. We just completely acquiesced.
We don't just fight, we win. Because time and time
we haven't won yet.
New Yorkers have been knocked down, and we get up stronger, louder.
None of that is true. Someone told her to write that. New York City's broken. New York State's broken. We're not getting up stronger and louder. I know what she's talking about.
And more resilient than ever before. So I'll be fighting every day with my partners on the same side. Andrea Stewart Cousins and our Speaker Carl Heath, to give them a round of applause.
They're booing them. She has such a lack of empathy that she literally walks up to a several thousand people event who are literally anti-establishment, clearly anti-establishment. And she brings up the establishment. Give these guys your hand. These are the guys you hate. These are the guys who Cuomo used to work with. These are the guys who I now work with to crush you. Well, give them a hand. They're booing them. She can't look at her face. She can't imagine. She can't imagine. Kevin says, Tish James campaign on weaponizing the justice system against Trump. Yes, which is why I'm okay with her getting hammered. If she hadn't done that, Kevin, I'd say dump her charges. She doesn't deserve it. It's bad. No, don't do that because it's wrong. Her charge is BS too. I don't mean to be cruel. Some of you Republicans like beating her up. I get it. I get the value of beating her up. But her charges should not be charges. They should be fines and fees, just like Trump should have not been charges. I couldn't find a victim there, but if there was a victim for Trump, then fines and fees for the victim if there was one. Move on. Neither one should have been charges. But you're right, Kevin. She campaigned on it. This is just desserts. That's what this is. So you're right. Yeah, they're mad.
But you know what?
They're trying to laugh it off. They're trying to laugh it off. Here's the funny part. The three of these people are so locked into their seats. They have gerrymandered and set everything up. There is no way they're going to lose their seats at all. None. They know that. They know that. They're aware of that. Why do you think I'm running independent? This is the only way to beat them. Republicans have no chance of beating any of them. Zero chance. Republicans are not going to take the Senate. Impossible. Republicans are not going to take the our assembly. Impossible. Zero chance. Anyone tells you that is lying or ignorant. Never going to happen. Republicans are never going to win a governorship. They're lying or ignorant if they tell you. They're lying or ignorant if they tell you that. Not going to happen. So these people are totally safe, and they know it. So they're getting scolded and they're laughing. Of course they're laughing because they're going, you guys think you have some power. It's so funny. You guys think your insults matter to us. We rule you with an iron fist. That's why they're laughing. They showed up here because Kathy told them to. The Queen said show up, and her henchmen came, as they have to. But they're laughing.
Something.
They're now yelling tax the rich.
Here's what we need.
She can't even get through it because they're yelling tax the rich at her. And she doesn't get it. And she can't get it. Lack of empathy.
Oh, you're fired up. You're fired up. But the three
Against
of us
you.
can't do it alone. We need.
Why not? Why not? You're the governor. That's the Senate and the Assembly right there. Yes, you can. Literally, you can do it alone. The three of you can do it. No one can stop you. Our judges in New York State are garbage. Our judges in New York State are a joke. They would never stop you. They never do. So you do whatever you want. That's literally a lie. She can do it all on her own. Those three people can do whatever they want, and they do. They literally pass laws in the budget. I'm not joking. They go in the budget and write, we are going to fund this. And because they said they were going to fund it, I'm not joking, and she signs it, that's now a law in New York State as long as nobody stops it. Correct. And the judges go, yep, that makes sense. Wait a minute. I thought we passed propose a bill and then we vote on it. No, we just write shit in the budget and it's law. That's how New York State works. You might go, that can't be true, Larry. That's how they changed the ballot access laws that got rid of me. So it's kind of personal for me. So yes, that's what happened. That's how New York State works. They fund something in the budget, and because it's funded, it is magically put into reality because it's funded. And that's all that matters. Money makes things just magically happen in New York State. I wish I was joking. I'm not. So they fund it, then it magically exists as long as no one challenges it, and no one ever challenges it. So it exists. That's how that works. New York's amazing. And she's going to sit here and say, we can't do it on our own. Who's stopping you? Is Eric Adams so powerful he's stopping you? Is that what you're saying? Eric Adams, the powerful New York mayor, he's shutting you down? Was Bill de Blasio so powerful he was shutting you down? That was happening? It's not how that works. She's literally lying. She can change everything on her own, regardless of who mayor is. Some of you may not know this. New York City is a very special city for many reasons, but the most important one is it is the only major city in the country that covers more than one county. Why does that matter? It's cross-county, which means in many cases, the governor has control. Not just that, our transportation system goes into other states. So the city crosses multiple counties, and the transportation system goes into both Connecticut and also into New Jersey. So because of that, very often, the federal government's involved. Yeah.
A fighter in City Hall who wakes up every day ready to punch and fight for the working people of the city, and that person is Zora Mandami.
Okay, now it is. Look at him in the back. She's like, what? Look at him in the back. He's like, that's the dude. We're here for him. That's what he don't even know we're here.
And this is
they just showed up because their queen ordered them to show up, and they are part of her court. And she ordered the court to show, and they did. These are her knights, and they showed up.
Because
Or her
Trump's
ministers.
America runs on fear,
See that?
cruelty, and division.
Trump's America runs on fear and cruelty. Not yours, only Trump's. Okay. What does yours run on?
But New York,
What's it run
we
on?
run on hope and
Oh.
compassion. And
Well, then why does everything suck? Why does everything suck? Maybe we shouldn't have so much hope and compassion because stuff isn't working. If it was working, you wouldn't have to come here and pretend like you care about Zora Mamdani, which you don't. You wouldn't have to come here and get yelled at by a bunch of people who don't like you. You wouldn't have to do that if we were running on so much hope and compassion, or if that worked, or whatever we run on. What do we run on? What we actually run on is corruption and money. That's what we actually run on. New York State runs on corruption, old money, and corruption. That's what it actually runs on. But I guess you want to call that hope and stuff.
optimism that never leaves us.
Never
So
leaves
I said
us.
we are the state that does not back down, and I'm going to
Okay.
be working closely with Mayor Zoran Mandami.
She says slowly because you're going to mess the name up. Zoran Mamdani. She said because she's going to screw it up and go like mommy or whatever. She's going to screw it up, so she says it. Okay. Keep going.
But you know what? Well, you know what I admire about him so much?
Oh,
Think about
okay.
it.
She's gonna edify him now. Here we go. Okay, she's gonna edify him. Okay, edify away. Do it. Tell me what's up. What do you do?
Zoran. Mom.
They're just yelling, Mom Donnie. Mom, they're just yelling because they love their guy. Like, you should know that. She's not accustomed to not being the center of attention. Note, she brought her ministers up and they didn't say anything. She brought up her ministers as props. Think about that. She brought her ministers as props and they were like, I don't want to speak here. This is terrible. You stupid for speaking here. I got my mouth shut. I got to show up because you're the queen and I'm your minister, so I'll show up, but I'm not saying anything.
But you know what you should take inspiration from? Think about the fact that every single time people have forced him to endure hatred and threats.
We've been forced to endure hatred and threats. Is that right? Okay, I've been forced to endure that. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Trying to use his faith or his name as a weapon. You know what he's done? He doesn't get out in the gutter with everybody else. He rises up with grace and courage and grit. That's the kind of leader we need. That's what we need.
She's not wrong in that one. That's not her. But she's not wrong. I mean, that's true. I think we do need that. She's right. That part's true.
Because they had Islamophobia.
Oh, the phobia.
Bigotry.
And the is.
And hate-filled speech.
Yep, that's it.
That kind of bullshit doesn't belong in New York.
There we go. She always thinks if she just yells like, it's got to get out of New York, that it goes away. And she feels like that. She goes, we say no. That doesn't belong here. Get out of New York. This all the time. But she'll do nothing to change it. Let me ask you two things have you heard so far? Have you heard in any way, shape, or form which policies of Mamdani's that she likes, that she would support? Or how she would move these two people here to push his agenda, to tax the rich or whatever thing she's going to do, or to get the free buses or whatever they're going to do. Did she mention any of that? No. Did she say what her plans were to tax the rich or freeze the rent or whatever is, or to fight Donald Trump or whatever? No. You might say, well, Larry, what? She didn't do that because she didn't want to make him look bad. No. She didn't say her plans because she has none. And she didn't back any of his because she doesn't back any of his. If she backed any of his plans, she would have endorsed him off the bat. If she backed any of his plans, she would have already had those. None of those things are true. She has none of it, right? To be forward, whether you like AOC or not, AOC jumped right on bandwagon. She's like, yeah, I'm in. I am in. Let's freeze the rent and tax the rich and whatever. Yes, AOC jumped right on board because she does. She's like, yeah, let's do it. There's no way Kathy Hochul, all the money she gets from the rich and the people who are friends of rich, she's like, tax us. Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
And I see in him.
Okay,
someone
she sees him
who sees a New York that is affordable.
Yeah.
Because we want to live here. We want families to grow here. We want them to prosper.
Yeah.
So we need more housing.
Yeah.
You know,
we need more housing. If only there was someone who was, say, in charge of New York State who could make more housing. Oh, wait, that's you. Oh, look at that. Well, that's okay. Zoran will fix it.
But here's something I can tell you about personally. New York's first mom governor,
and there's a gender base. Every single time, and I tease all the time, she will always, every time, play the gender card. She plays the woman card every single time. And I mean every time. She will always play the gender card. And she played it again. Well done.
Need more child care.
If only there was someone who would put a budget together on, say, a yearly basis that would fund childcare. If there was and maybe if they had someone else other people, maybe like a group of people who would assemble together, who are representatives from throughout the state, and then maybe have another branch that was kind of like a Senate that other people would come. If they could all be there and then maybe pass a law or a budget that would fund childcare. Oh, they're right there. Those are the three people who would do exactly what she just said. Literally nothing has been stopping her from doing this for the past 3 years. I'm sorry, now 4 years now? 4 years now, right? For the past 4 years. What's it, 5 years? I think it's 4 years. I think she's been governor for 4 or 5 years. Nothing stopped her for the past 4 years. And prior to that, she was lieutenant governor for about 5 years. So nothing stopped her from proposing it then. Nothing stopped her from proposing all that. And before that, she was a congressperson. No one stopped her from proposing that either. At no point did anyone stop her from proposing any of that. Now Mom Donnie's here. We need what Mom Donnie says. Oh, now you figured that out.
And it has to be universal.
Gotta be.
Childcare for everyone who wants it.
You want childcare, you get it. I want childcare. I want it too. Larry, your kid's 15. I don't give a damn. Anyone who wants it. You're going to take care of my 15-year-old. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a child. I want childcare. My 15-year-old is still a child. You're going to take care of her. Kathy Hochul, take care of my 15-year-old.
So here's what we're going to do.
Take that, taxpayers. They're all laughing because they look at that nervous laughter. Tax the rich. Sorry, tax you guys. Tax you three. Yes.
Well, this crowd is fired up.
Yeah. You're not wrong on that one, though. You got that one down. Okay. To be clear, they're never taxing the rich. And I know some of you watching probably like Mom Donnie. I get it. I'm not mad at you for it. Enjoy the man. Whatever. He's got a lot of charisma. Good on you. I know the guy. He's fine. But here it is. He's never, ever, ever. Those three people, they are the rich. They're never taxing the rich. Never. That's not going to happen.
I can hear you.
I'm not going to do anything about it, but I can hear you because I have ultimate power. I'm here because I have a very large ego, and I can't let Mom Donnie be the only one in the spotlight. So I'm showing up here just because my ego's too large. I probably shouldn't show up. How do you know that? No one else of my status did. So no other senators showed up. New York senators, Bernie did. But Schumer didn't show up. None of them did. So I didn't have to show up. But I did anyway because my ego's huge. And I hear you. But I'm not doing anything about it. Because if I thought I could do it, I would have done it already the past 5 years. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing anything, but I hear you.
But here's my friends.
My friends.
You want to see Zoran or not?
Oh, did you hear that? That was her natural anger that just came out. Do you want to see Zoran or not? She was laughing, but she wasn't. She basically said, let me finish talking because I can't control the crowd. So when I can't get what I want, I will threaten. Boy, does her personality come out, doesn't it?
Listen, I got one plea for you.
One plea.
I love to see this energy and this passion. And for those of you who've not been involved in the voting or even campaigns before, I am so excited about what is going on here.
Okay,
but I
excited.
need you to do something. All right, one more thing.
One more thing, okay.
This is about this November's election.
Okay.
But take that energy, that passion, and take it into 26 so that we can take back the House of Representatives, take the Senate, and take back our country.
Now, in the back, they're clapping because they like that. Because what she just said is, okay, this funny Mom Donnie guy, whatever, the second he wins, the three of us are going to crush him. So he's getting nothing. We're going to play nice and act like we like him for about a year, maybe more like 10 months. Why? Because that might hopefully fool you guys in the still supporting Democratic Party. I wish I was joking. That's what she actually means. We're going to pretend kind of like we're going to do something he wants. I mean, we're not, but we're going to pretend and we're going to say nice things and we're going to delay stuff just till about November of next year. And hopefully you guys, we can sucker you guys into still supporting the establishment that we are, and getting more Democrats elected, established Democrats elected, and we can take the House back and crush the country anyway. Just it won't be Republican crushing. It will be Democratic crushing. And then we'll, at that point, discard Mamdani, make sure he fails, paint him as a complete failure, socialism bad, and we'll put in whatever our equivalent of Cuomo is in 2029. Those of you who know New York State know that that was actually accurate. That was not a joke. And sadly, it will probably work because it tends to.
With your help, we will elect Soren and we take back America. Thank you, Queens. Thank you, New York. I love you guys.
She doesn't. There we go. I thought you guys might enjoy that piece. So I'm going to grab some comments and answer some questions. So you might say, Larry, that sounds good. You talk a lot of trash. And I appreciate that. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed that piece. And I did talk trash. True. You're not wrong. But why would I talk trash? Because what she's trying to do is not make any real change. What she's trying to do is just make sure that her party, her establishment party, survives and thrives. That's what she wants. Now, why would she go there? There is literally no chance of the Democratic Party all of a sudden having no power in New York State. Nah. When it comes to Republicans, the Republicans have no chance whatsoever of making any impact in the state. None. Zero. So why is she afraid? Why is she talking? She doesn't want the Democratic Party to go the wrong way. Now, Republicans will always say this, and they're wrong when they say this. They'll go, Kathy Hochul's a Marxist, she's a communist, whatever. She's not. She's not. She is establishment Democrat. She talks left when it makes sense for her, but she does establishment every day of the week. But will she talk left? Of course. Will she use the talking points of women and minorities and black people? She'll do that all day long. She will. But her actual policies will be as establishment as possible. That's what she will do to the best of her ability. She will lean left just enough to keep some of the lefties in New York City and some of the cities happy. That's as far as she'll go. The rest, she's going to stay establishment. That's who she actually is. She's a hardcore crony capitalist. She's a crony capitalist, not a Marxist, not a communist. That is Republican propaganda. Do not believe that. However, Mr. Mamdani, he is a socialist. That's real. He's a true believer. And by the way, she actually hates that. How do we know this? That's why Cuomo is even still running. Because establishment Democrats absolutely hate it. They can't stand it. They hate that. Because establishment Democrats aren't actually socialists and communists and Marxists like all the Republicans tell you. No, the Republicans tell you that because it makes Republicans angry and they want Republicans to give them money. So they go, hey, if I say this stuff, the Republicans will give me money. And they're not wrong. It actually works. That's why they use it. Speaking of that, of Republicans giving Republicans money, guys, you should give me money. Yes, you should. If the Republicans are going to give their people money, you have to give me money too so I can fight both Democrats and Republicans. I have to fight both of them. I'm running independent. It is not easy, and you have to help me out. I'm here giving you I am giving you my time, energy, my soul. I'm telling you what I feel. Everything I do is live. You see where I was last week. I was out and about last week, and I got the Libertarian Party nomination last weekend. Thank you, Libertarian Party. For those of you watching who voted, thank you so much. I'm out here trying to make things happen. I need your help. Head over to LarrySharpe.com/donate and donate whatever you can. If you live in New York State, you will be matched 6 to 1, 6 times to 1 if you live in New York State. If you live in New York State and you give $100, New York State, once I raise up $500,000, will kick in $600. Yes. You're saying, Larry, how is that possible? New York State will just give you? Yes, that's true. It's called matching funds. When I raise $500,000, New York State will just give me $3 million. And some of you are going, that can't work. No, that's how it works. That's why they threw all the other candidates off the ballot. That's why they threw all the other parties off the ballot. This is just a way of, they did this to ensure that the grifting class of Republicans and Democrats keep getting paid, right? Consultants going to get paid somehow. And the problem is a lot of New Yorkers, they weren't donating. Why would you? The outcome is the same. You know what's going to happen. Why would I waste my time donating? Makes sense. I get it. Well, wait a minute. So what can we do? How can we keep our grifter class working? We got to do that, right? So what do? We'll just force you to do it. we'll just tax you and give the money away. I wish I was joking. In New York City, it's 8-1. Yes, that's how Mamdani can compete against Cuomo. You're saying, how can a guy like Mamdani compete against Cuomo? Because he raised $1 million, then they gave him $8 million. I'm not joking. That you can do your homework. He raised $1 million, and New York City said, here's your check for $8 million. That's how you can fight Cuomo, who raised $24 million. That's how Brad Lander had any chance. Who the hell's Brad Lander? You don't know either. Nobody knows. Unless you live in New York City, you know who Brad Lander is. He also raised $1 million, and New York City gave him $8 million. Yes, that's how that works. So help me raise $500,000, and New York State will give me $3 million. With $3 million, this is a winnable race. Let me say it again. With $3 million, this is a winnable race. Head over to LarrySharpe.com/donate. If you live in New York State, give me anywhere from $5 to $250. That's the max they give. That's the max they'll match. It's $250, and the least they'll match is $5. So someplace between $5 and $250. Please donate. Do that. New York State matches 6 times to 1. Yes. If you don't live in New York State, please do donate. Donate whatever you can. $5 is fine. If you can do recurring, you do not know how much that helps. If you say, Larry, look, I can't give you like $50. It's just I don't have it. Do you have $5 a month for the next year? That's what I'm asking for next year. Do you have $5 a month for next year? Can you do that? Can you $10 a month for next year? Are you in a spot where you need $25 for the next year? It's 1 year. By November of next year, if you want to keep giving, please, but don't be need to. So can you do that for a year? That would help. Can you do $10 a month for a year? If you're in a good spot and you're doing well, do $100 a month. If you're doing well, wherever your head is, go ahead, do that. That's going to help tremendously, right? I hope you're all so super wealthy, you can do $200 a month. That'd be awesome. I hope you all are. But I know most people aren't. Wherever you are, if you can't do a big hit now, per month helps tremendously. And it all adds up, right? All adds up. So please do so if you can. You say, you know what? I want to donate. But I would like a gift to donate. You can get that. LarrySharpe.com/shop. You can get hoodies. You can get bumper stickers. You can get shirts. Whichever you like, you can get all of them. In fact, let me show you what it looks like if you want to check them out. There it is. Right there. There's the shirts. There's the hoodies. There's the bumper sticker. And a special shirt. Regulate like onions. Yes, that is weed coming out of an onion. See that? Cool. Yes, my daughter Barbara, by the way, is the one who designed that. So if you want a cool design like that, please go ahead. Regular like onions or the Larry Sharpe shirts. Grab one of them. Go ahead and take care of it. Pick up some of those. Donate. Get a gift for donating. Happy to have it. If you do it, please put the bumper sticker on your car. Please wear the shirt. Does matter. Please do that so people can see it. What I'm fighting for here is, without question, it is legitimacy. So the more people see it, the better. Also, if you say, Larry, I'd love to do all those things, but I cannot. I don't have the cash. Okay, then volunteer. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Join SEAL Team Sharpe. We need a bunch of people to be out there doing things. We have weekly phone calls. You come onto the volunteer phone call, and you get instructions. Here's what you do. Here's where we're going to go. Here's what we're going to do. We need people in New York and out of New York. In New York, we need county coordinators. Outside of New York, we need people coming on and being part of our SEAL team, right? Our social media team to get stuff done here on social media. It is critically important. So please come help out. We're starting early. We're a year and 13 months out. We're 13 months out. We're starting early. Help out now so we can rock and roll and make this work well. What you got to understand is in New York State next year, 35% could be a win. I'm already polling at more than 6%. I get $3 million. Winnable race. I'm not joking. Winnable race. If you can combine help, please do so. And of course, the minor thing, subscribe to this channel or this page, whatever you're watching it on. Also, of course, share this, repost this if you can, and click that button known as like. All those things matter. All right. I want to cover the things that we talked about, and I want to cover some comments. Let me grab a bunch of these if I can. All right. Let me go do some comments. And I'll also chat about what we can do to actually fix this thing. So first part in New York, it's about affordability. She said, we want to do things that make the city affordable. If you look at the 3 things that were on that list, one was freeze the rent. One was free buses, right? What was the other one? It was something else free. It's free childcare. Free childcare, freeze the rent, and free buses. Now look, to be clear, makes sense. It does. These are things that cost people stuff. But here's the problem with all three of those. If you make free buses, most New Yorkers do not take the bus. So you're not helping most New Yorkers by making the buses free. So off the bat, the outcome is not good enough. You want to make it, you have to fix the entire MTA system to include roads, buses, rail. That will affect the vast majority of New Yorkers. He's just making free buses free. So we're going to pay money we don't have to affect less than half of the New Yorkers, maybe 25% of New Yorkers, maybe if we're lucky. Next, freeze the rent. Also, not many people, it doesn't affect many people, only about 20% of the apartments. So yeah, only if you're a renter and only if you're in rent control apartments. That's it. And the freeze the rent is also a Band-Aid. It will turn. It's freezing the rent, not forever, for what, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Then what happens? So even if you like the idea, it actually doesn't work and doesn't affect most New Yorkers. Last, childcare. How many New Yorkers need childcare? Lots do, but not all. None of these things will affect most New Yorkers. The things I talk about affect most New Yorkers. Yeah, they affect most New Yorkers. So I'll touch one of those. Freeze the rent. Sounds nice. I love the concept of freezing the rent. It does sound good, right? It doesn't affect everybody. Imagine if we could actually, instead of freezing the rents, actually do what we should do, which is end rent freezes, period. How about we literally say, which we should say, which is the truth, rent control is clearly unconstitutional. I'm taking someone's property and controlling it. Clearly it is, but no one seems to care. But it clearly is that. Make it unconstitutional, unenforceable, no rent control. End it. Larry, if we don't have rent control, all these rents will go sky high and people will be out in the cold. Okay, we hear that before. But there's a place called Buenos Aires in Argentina where that was done. And within 1 year, rents went down 30%. 1 year, 30%. Still going down, by the way. And less homelessness. Yes. Do the opposite. And we get a better result for everyone. Everyone's rent goes down. People open up more housing. Do that, and now make it to where now people who right now, we talk all the time about all of these buildings now, who are commercial buildings that we can't change over. Why can't we change them over? It's too expensive. They can be physically done. You can gut them and you can physically do it. Why don't they? It's not financially feasible because of the rent control, because of rent control issues in New York State, because of affordable housing in New York State. Just open it up. How do you get people in cities that want more apartments and more housing? You have to be friendly to either landlords or developers, if the case may be, so that you'll have more housing. More housing means lower rents. It's not rocket science. Do that instead. It affects everyone and brings more people back to New York City. Yeah. Do that and it will help everybody. And we just saw it happen. So while it's nice to freeze the rent, it sounds nice, it doesn't actually help people, and it's a Band-Aid. That's one of the bigger problems. So yes. Let me move on if I can. All righty. Music Man Crichton says, Larry, I deeply apologize for not being able to attend your event this past Saturday in Rochester, New York, due to my work. We got to work. I'm more than willing to set something for you next time you're in town, if that's okay. I'd love to make that happen. Music Man. Don't worry about it, brother. You got to work, right? There we go. Yes. He goes on to say, I'm endorsing you for governor, but I'm also encouraging you to work with Lee Stefanik, Lieutenant Governor Delgado, to save New York. I'm willing to help out on policymaking to move New York forward. I appreciate that, but I must be very forward. There is literally no way Delgado is going to work with Stefanik. For those who don't know, Lieutenant Governor Delgado is Kathy Hochul's Lieutenant Governor. He is a Democrat. She picked him. He then stabbed her directly in the back, which is how things work. And he's running against her now. So now she's bad. So she said, come on, Delgado. And he went, great, thank you so much. Oh, what's that? It's a knife in your back. And that's what he did. So that's what happened there. And Elise Stefanik is never going to work with Democrat. Elise Stefanik spends her entire time just screaming about how bad Democrats are. That's all she does. So she's never going to do it. I appreciate the concept. It's a fantasy. They'll never work together ever. They will not. Now, do I want to do an event with all of them? Sure. That's fine if they want to do it. But Delgado is going to run in the primary against Hochul. He will lose that primary, and he knows he will. There are many people in New York who have a fantasy and think somehow Delgado is going to win because he has more charisma than Kathy Hochul. That's true. He does. He has more charisma than Kathy Hochul, and nowhere near the money and connections that she has. Nowhere near. He thought the backstab would work. It didn't. She laughed because she doesn't know any better, and her ego is huge. So that did not work. Elise Stefanik didn't want to do this. She's only doing it because she couldn't get to her UN job, and that's because Kathy Hochul screwed her over with Donald Trump. That's a true story. That's why she's running. She doesn't want to run. She has no choice. So she's going to run now. And her run will be a disaster. Why? She has no policy. How do you know? What's her policy? You don't know it. It doesn't exist. Her policy is Hochul bad, more cops. That's Elise's policy on everything. How are you going to fix the rent? No. You think Elise Stefanik would support ending zoning? Never. Do you think she would support ending do you think she would support ending rent control? No. Did you hear her say it? Of course not. You think she would support what I talk about, making things affordable, creating a New York State social trust to pay for things so that people can still get what they want, but we can stop taxation? Think she would do that? No. Why wouldn't she say it? This stuff has been on my website for years, and her people can look at it whenever they want. They don't. So she's not. What the Republican Party in New York State wants to do is be just relevant enough to keep grifting. That's it. And again, it's not because they're Republicans. It's because they're the secondary party in a deep one-party state. The Democrats do the same thing in Nebraska that Republicans do here in New York. That's the broken system. That's why third party matters. So Music Man Crichton, don't worry about Elise. Don't worry about Delgado. Just worry about third-party candidates. That's what matters. That's how you fix New York. No one else can. No one else can. But if you want me to come, I'm happy to come to any event you have. So yes, happy to have it. Let's show up if we can. I love that. We'll make it happen. I think it'd be great. So, all righty. Doc Agnew let his BK jalapeno cheese tots go cold. I'm sorry about that, Doc. Can you, the best way to heat those up, put them in the oven at 200 degrees, 220, 200, 220. Put them in the oven at 200, 220. Put them in there, I don't know, 20 minutes maybe. Depends how, unless you preheat it. But if you preheat it, maybe 10, 15 minutes. If you don't preheat it, probably 20, 25. Put them in there. They'll get warmed up without getting too crispy, just crispy enough. That's what I would do if I were you. So there we go. All right. Mother Nature says, I've not experienced the Gov Shack. Yes, there are lots of them. There are lots of them. There were lots of them. That's the issue. So yeah, we are rocking and rolling. All right. Let me get some more of these if I can. All righty. Jan has reposted this. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate that. Josh says, don't forget to set clocks back this weekend if daylight savings ending for you. Oh, I appreciate that. Pete is coming in hot. 38 trillion. We broke 38. Pete. We broke 38, brother. I'm not sure to laugh or cry. 38 trillion. 9 billion. 25 million. $959,457.40. And it's gone up since then. I wasn't ready for that one, Pete. You got me. I was not ready for that one. I was absolutely not ready for that one. So, yeah. That sucks. Okay. Let me keep moving. All righty. As we move down here. Liberty says, don't forget you can only watch Gov Shack on Larry Sharpe Medias. Yes, YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. You cannot watch Gov Shack on Sharpe Media. True. Now that I've announced running for governor, I've split some of these things up. And in the coming weeks, you will see me split up even more. It'll be clearer what is Sharpe Way and what is Larry Sharpe. If you guys want to support Sharpe Way, please feel free to watch the Sharpe Way shows, usually 7 p.m. during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Please enjoy and watch them and support them with super chats and all those type of things. Please do so if you like. If you want to support my governor run, Please watch more Larry Sharpe content, and please head over and donate. Click the like button, share here, volunteer, all those things. It does matter. So someone asked, should this be Gov Shack number 1? No, I've done it before. This is my 35th one. I went back and checked and I counted. So yes, this is my 35th one. So there we go. All righty. Pete says, if taxing 100% of someone's labor is considered slavery, at what percentage does it cease to be slavery? Well, it's got to be somewhere between 110% and 10%, because the church says you owe the church 10%, and that's not slavery. So we know 10% is not slavery, and 100% is slavery. So it's in between that someplace. That's how I would say it. It's in between that. It's in between 10 and 100%. So there we go. All righty. I grabbed that piece already. I'm grabbing so many of these. All right. D says, the old New York isn't working anymore. It's time for a new New York led by Larry Sharpe. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Mike Voss in the house. Exactly, Larry. Why is New York so expensive? Why does it have such high taxes and rank 50th in business friendliness? For a decade. Yes. Why does Hochul have zero solutions for these problems she boasts about? Mike, I'm going to preach it. You know you did this rhetorically, but I'm going to answer for those who are watching. Because why does it matter? No matter what she does, she can just grift. This is a one-party state. If it's a one-party state, you do what you want. If you lean left, you don't get what you want, because the establishment just does whatever it wants. It grifts and everyone pays. No, Larry, they're lefties. Well, then why is Mom Donnie the rebel here? In theory, if the Democratic Party was actually socialist and was actually left, if that were true, they would have embraced Mom Donnie immediately. They would have jumped on board, thrown him all the money. Cuomo wouldn't be running, right? If that were true. We know it's not. The establishment takes over and does whatever it wants. That's how it actually works. And Republicans have no power here. They're told to leave. And sadly, Republican voters are leaving like there's no tomorrow. This is the reason why there is no chance of victory for the Republicans, because they keep leaving. Look, Mike and I were recently at a Sliwa event. Curtis Sliwa here in New York. I like Curtis. I've said it before. I'm biased because I know him and I like him. And it makes me biased. It does. Agreed. But as much as that's the case, the odds of him winning are astronomical, not because he's a bad guy, because he's not. That's not what it is. Because it's 6-1 Democrat to Republican. That's why the odds are so against him. It's 6-1. I mean, lightning has to strike the same spot 3 times for him to win. That's all I'm saying. That's the issue, right? That's the problem that we're dealing with. So, yeah. Alrighty. Mike goes on to say, worst thing ever said by public, do something. We need to do something effective. Yet again, Mike is correct. Be accountable. Find a solution. That's what we need to say to force politicians to do. Yes, the part I want to bring up here is, look, you hear me say policies. Some of you don't like my policies. Okay. But I have them. Why does that matter? Because when I get in the debate stage and Kathy Hochul says, we got to stop Trump because Trump is killing people in the streets, or whatever she says. And when Elise Stefanik goes, Kathy Hochul's a communist and we need more cops, or whatever dumb thing she says, I can say, no, here's a policy, a thing we can actually do to stop things. You know what we could do? We could change bail reform. We can make bail reform only for first-time offenders. We could do that. Oh my God, but bail reform is bad. All Elise Stefanik will say is end bail reform. All Hochul will say is bail reform is great and not change it. That's what she's done. But here's the problem. Both are wrong. Conceptually, bail reform is a good idea conceptually. Why would you want to punish poor people more than wealthy people? Makes total sense. What we did was a disaster and the worst time on top of it. And the judges, of course, as our terrible judiciary does in New York State, they abandon us also. Nothing but bad. All bad. So how do we fix it? We're not going to be able to change the laws right now. They won't do it. And there's some of the priorities in the world. Here's what we do. Make it effective for first-time offenders. That's it. But Larry, the first-time offenders? What's that mean? Here's the issue. Every single person you've seen a story about, every one of them, who's gone back out and hurt somebody after they got arrested, who robbed somebody, who beat somebody up, who killed somebody, every one of them, 100% was a multiple time offender. Every one of them. Well, that's why you give them one shot, one chance. You made a mistake and you're poor. Don't keep your job. Don't stay in jail for 6 months to 2 years. Don't do that. You made a mistake. You might be innocent anyway. One shot, you're good. That's an actual plan. That's something someone can get behind. And you might go, Larry, that's not fair. And I can see both sides. The left might go, no, he's got to be convicted. That's an argument now. Now we're having a conversation about an actual policy. The right go, oh, depends on what it is. If it's for murder, no. Okay, now we're having a conversation. We can fix that damn policy. What's Elise going to do? Nothing. She's just going to try to end it. What's Kathy Hill going to do? Nothing. She could have changed it literally years ago. Literally years ago. The people you saw her with, they can do everything. They can fix it. They won't. Martin says, sleep well for mayor of New York City, Sharpe for governor of New York. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes. Martin goes on to ask, Larry Sharpe, should New York City break apart again? Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan be their own cities. I like localism. I do. I feel like we've been so integrated for so long, it may not work. But if there was a movement, I wouldn't fight it. But I don't know if it would work because we are so integrated right now. The city's very integrated. Maybe. I'm open to talk about it. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say I think that it needs to happen, but I could be convinced. That's what I would say. I could be convinced. I think I could be. So yes. Mother Nature's Little Secret says, if Trump stops giving New York the cash, Larry will stomp her off her throne. We'll see that. Yes. Missy says she will think tax the rich until they realize she is the rich. That's the point. They're literally establishment that everyone's railing against. They are the establishment everyone is railing against. Yes, absolutely. So I love that concept. All right. I talked about the buses and about the rents and the childcare. Let me shift. The idea of fixing the rents I talked about, not the buses. How do we fix the entire system? Many of you have heard me talk about this before. There are many ways of doing this to make this place more affordable. When it comes to New York City itself versus throughout the entire state. In the case of the entire state, we already have a thing known as adopt a highway plans. What does that mean? Some company, usually local, but not always, gets their name on the highway and they're responsible for cleaning the highway, right? So they pay a fee so they get their name on the highway and they clean the highway. Okay, that's we do it already, right? Why can't we do something even larger? Why can't we do something like let Google build a Google road in the middle of many of our large interstates, right to the middle, and their leasing rights for that area in the middle is maintenance on both of those, on both sides of that interstate. That's their rent. They pay for the maintenance. Larry, they do it already when it comes to cleaning. So now it's maintenance. What's the difference? Maintenance, cleaning, same thing, just more money. But why would they pay for some massive Google road? Imagine for a moment we decide we want to put, a massive Google road between Rochester and Syracuse, between Albany and New York City, between Buffalo and Rochester, whatever. We decide, whatever it is, along one of the interstates. We do that. Right down the middle. We do it. And then if that's something that's happened, they fix it, whatever the case may be. Well, now you have a choice. Do you want to use the Google road? You may. Google can charge whatever it wants to. There's probably going to be driverless cars on it. There may be special cars that go back and forth. Maybe freight goes back and forth, whatever the case may be. Oh, good. Maybe FedEx will use it for freight. Maybe the post office will use it for freight. Who knows? They use it for whatever they want. They can make it go fast. They can have whatever speed limit they want on it. It's their road. It's a private road. They do whatever they want with it. You go, Larry, I hate Google or I hate whatever this road. I don't want to use it. The interstate's still there. Drive on a regular interstate. But for every truck that goes on that Google road, every one of them, that's a truck not on your road. Less maintenance, less back and forth, all those things. Not just that, we see how Google makes the roads. Suppose these Google roads, they have electricity in them. And because they're warm, the snow actually melts. So they're safer. Wow, let's have those. Maybe if that works, we then have all our roads become that way. But we'll figure it out slowly but surely. We do that. Maintenance is cheaper, if not free. We have less trucks on our roads. And now the big corporations we hate so much have taxed the rich. Here's the issue. We're never going to tax the rich. I know it feels good. I know it sounds good. But remember, corporations aren't good or evil. They're apathetic. They don't care. If you give them a reason to do good, they'll do good. You give them a reason to do bad, they'll do bad. They don't care. What makes money? So if they can get cheaper goods and services back and forth between cities, if they can actually get good advertisements and marketing on those roads, because you'll be able to see it there, advertisements right there, they'll get free advertising on it. They get that. They'll spend the money. Not because they love us. They don't, because it makes sense. Or you can just virtue signal, shake your fist and go, Google bad, and nothing changes, which is what Kathy Hochul does. Or you can say, we're going to tax the rich, like my mom does, and realize we're never going to tax them. Or my idea. Larry, I hate your idea. Awesome. Get me on the debate stage and then we can talk about it. I have one. I gave you an actual answer. I gave you an answer to give us better roads, less traffic on those roads, safer roads, no extra taxpayer dollars. And in fact, they lease it to us, so we pay less money. We pay less money. But Larry, what about the workers? They're all going to be fired. No, they're going to be hired by Google or whoever to fix the roads. But they're union workers. Then they'll have a private union there. So let them be union. I'm not against unions. Be unions. But now they're private unions. Good. And not taxpayer funded unions. Okay. Then there's no need for them to have power against our government, right? Yes. Win, win, and win. Nothing but win. I hope that makes sense. And that's just upstate. Well, what about downstate? Again, lease naming rights to bridges and tunnels. I bring it up all the time. As you lease naming rights to bridges, we pay no tolls. The average person pays tolls. We still keep the bridge, so we inspect it, so bridges won't collapse. Bridges in New York State collapse now, right? So I hear all the time, if the private companies own it, they won't pay attention to it, and they'll collapse. They collapse now that the government runs it. This dystopian world you speak of, this future, is today. Why in the world would any company that would sponsor bridge want it to collapse? They wouldn't. That's insanely dumb. They wouldn't want it. Not because they care about your life. They don't. Because it will look bad on them that they care about. But Larry, I don't like the fact that they don't do it because they love me. Well, I don't have to tell you, they're never going to love you. They're corporations. Corporations don't love you. That's how it works. Andrea says, everyone who doesn't agree is an hysterophobe. Every single time. Every single time. You are correct. I hope those ideas make sense to you. This is how you actually fix things, have real conversations versus going, we just got to freeze it. We just got to make the buses free. The problem is the free buses. And again, I'm not even against, just a free buses piece. I'm not even against the concept of free buses. I'm not against it conceptually. We have to make sure something. And this is people who've been through this understand there is a worry. If something is free, it may be better to be free or it may be better to be very cheap. Why does that matter? They've done times where this kind of thing has failed. Some cities, free buses work. Some cities, it doesn't work. What is the problem? If the buses are free, there is a chance, again, we should test this, that free buses means a bunch of people loiter on the bus and then there's no room for other people to be on the bus. Now, will that happen? I don't know. In some cities, it does happen, in which case you make the bus very cheap, like 25 cents. Make it hilarious. 25 cents change? It does. We watched it. There was a similar thing that happened, I think it was Singapore or Japan, some country where they wanted to make their healthcare free. And they found when they made the healthcare free, seniors would go to the hospital every day and just hang out with friends because they were lonely. Now, that's sad, but found another way to fix them. The problem is that people need help. We're now having real problems. They couldn't get help. So find another way to deal with your seniors. Don't let them necessarily pay a small fee. It was like $2 or I think it was like 200 yen in Japan. I forgot what it was. I think it was Japan. It might've been Singapore. Whatever it was, it was dirt cheap. So that any senior who wanted to go to the hospital or go to a doctor could easily afford it. It was like $2 or $1, whatever it was. You could afford it, but it wasn't free. And that one thing of having to pay anything cut it tremendously. So all I'm saying is it may be better, depending upon the services, to have cheap buses versus free. I'm not against it. What I'm against is taxing people even more and having crappy services when you can have corporations happily pay for it and then keep it cheap or free. I don't mind. Good. Let's have 25-cent buses and trains. That's wonderful. Right now it's $3. Imagine if it was 25 cents. Now, 25 cents, would that change loitering? Statistically, it does. Less people will loiter if it's 25 cents versus 0. Again, we should test that. Whichever one makes the most sense. So, yeah. All righty. A couple of these. All righty. Mike goes on to say that's what her speech was really about. 26. Oh, she means 2026. 2026 midterms. She's signaling DNC and the donors for her support. Yes. Yes. That's true. Josh says, if New Yorkers were smart, they vote for Curtis Sliwa. Here's the problem, Josh. And some of you are going to be mad at me for this. But I'm going to tell you the truth. The New York City GOP dropped the ball. Those of you who know me know I warned them about Mamdani years ago. They didn't pay attention. And they couldn't find anybody to run. And Sliwa, because he actually does care, said, I'll take the L. I'll run. I'll take the L. I will run. And he did. And the New York City GOP went, all right, good luck with that, and ignored him completely. Didn't give money, didn't support him, basically walked away. All of a sudden, Mamdani shows up like, oh, dude, we should have supported Sliwa. Too late. They didn't have any real plans. They didn't have any real ideas. They didn't have any real backing. So it isn't if New Yorkers are smart. New Yorkers didn't even realize what it was all about. They had a chance. You're right, Josh. They had a chance. The New York GOP screwed it up. It's their mistake. They had a shot at this. If they would have backed him even as May, April, I mean, they should have backed him in February, but it's fine. Whatever. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me move on if I can. All right. I got those. And Pete also reposted it. Thank you. Every repost does matter. Yes. And it says freeze the rent for some. It does freeze the rent for some, but not for all. Yes. Literally says, I know some goofies in my town who want rent controls. Look, if you can't see any other answer, do it actually make sense? If I'm sitting here and I can't pay my rent and I can't pay my bills and no one has an answer for me, and then comes Mamdani saying, well, I'll freeze your rent. I go, I would like that. Yes. Not because I care about anything else, but because I need to pay my rent and no one else has an answer. Please. And he goes, you know what? Free buses. And I go, free bus? Okay. Double good. Let's do that. And if you want some childcare, done and done. I go, this guy's great. Why? Because no one else is giving me any answers. It isn't that they're goofy. It's actually rational. As crazy as libertarians see it, it's actually rational. When no one gives you an answer and somebody does, I'll take it. It's actually rational. You'll deal with the rest later. I need to pay my rent this month. I'll deal with the problems later. Yes. Phil says, Austin, Texas has less regulations and doesn't have rent control, and the rents have gone down. Yes, it's everywhere. It happens every single time. That's how it works. When there's no rent control, people start putting more units on the map, right? And you might go, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. I may do a show on this, Phil. I may do a whole show on this, right? The reality of it is, when there's rent control, people literally keep units off the market. They don't put them on. So now, here's why it doesn't work. There's rent control, and I have 4 units in my building. Well, one of them is in disrepair. If I don't have rent control, I'll take the money I need to put it into repair to make it legal again, and then I'll rent it out because I rent it at the right price where I can eventually make my money back. With rent control, I will never make my money back. And if some person stiffs me or I get sued, I'm killed. There's no way I'm going to make that happen. It's done for. So what I do, I just keep the 3 that I have. The one doesn't go with that. And I keep raising the prices to make it for the last one. So the 3 people who are not rent controlled pay a whole lot more when I don't put the guy on the market. That happens constantly. But wait a minute, Larry. What if you get rid of rent control? Well, what I do is I open the other one up and I raise the rent on that one. Well, then, because I'm getting more money overall, I actually lower the rent in the other 3 a little bit to match the one and that one. Now, this is what I hear all the time. Lefties all tell me the same thing. They never lower rents. That's made up. Rents come down all the time when demand goes down. It's every time, not sometimes, every time. That's how it works. So if demand goes down, the price goes down. That's how it works. Every time, not sometimes. I'm sorry, there's one exception, when we have rent control. So there we go. In any case, hope that makes sense. All righty. Yes, Lunari64 says algorithm. Thank you, my friend. Please, guys, jump on board. Please, if you can, do me a favor, click that like button. Repost as you've seen before. Subscribe to this channel or page wherever you're watching it. It does matter. And again, if you want to support what I'm doing, if you want to move forward with this campaign, then head on over to LarrySharpe.com/donate. Donate. If you live in New York State, somewhere between $5 and $250. Why? That, if you live in New York State, is what matching funds will deal with. $5 and $250 in between that number, whatever you can handle. Can you handle 5? Can you handle 250? Whatever in between. Please do that. New York State will match. You give $50, New York State will give me $300. You give me $100, New York State will give me $600. You give me $200, New York State will give me $1,200. Yes, it's how we make this rock and roll. If I get to $500,000 total from New Yorkers, New York State will give me $3 million. I'm not joking. That becomes a winnable race. That's how we win this damn thing. Let's work on it. If you don't live in New York State, please do donate. Please give what you can. Maximum donation for my race is $9,000 per person, $18,000 per household. If you want to, feel free. If you can, please support. Why would you want to support me if you don't live in New York State? I'll tell you why. What happens in New York comes to you eventually. If we stop them in New York, we stop them everywhere. You might say, Larry, I would love to support you, but I would like to get a gift for supporting you. Well, you can. LarrySharpe.com/shop. Pick up a shirt, a hoodie, a bumper sticker, whatever you like. Donate, get that sent to you as a gift for donating. Please do so at LarrySharpe.com/shop. Please do so. I'd appreciate it. Larry, I've already donated as much as I possibly can. I love that. Can you do it every month? Can you do $10 a month, $5 a month, whatever you can? You can? Awesome. Please do so. If you can do $5 a month, that's great. Larry, I can't give you $25 now. I can't do it. $10 a month for 1 year. That's what I'm asking. 1 year, and we've pushed through this. If you can do that, please do so. If you can't do any of that, already have, then volunteer. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Pop-up SEAL Team Sharpe. Join us. We need you. We need you. If you live in New York, we need you to come to events. We need you to do sine waves, knock on doors. We have volunteer meetings every single Wednesday. They're on Zoom, so you know where to go, what to do. If you're not in New York State, we do need you as a social media warrior. The meme wars are real. I need those meme warriors. Come on board as a meme warrior. Again, every Wednesday night, we have a meeting, Zoom meeting. We'll chat, make things move forward. It can work. Support to the best of your ability. It does matter. Please do so. All right, let me grab a couple of comments again. Andrea says, instead of pointing a finger at someone else, how about realizing there are 3 pointing back? Yes, make a change by having actual policies. I keep saying it. Yes, I keep saying it. So let me go to the next piece if I can. I covered the free buses, how we can make it even better than that. I covered the rent. Let me move to the childcare piece. There are reasons why the childcare piece is an issue, right? A lot of people are worried. I get it. Number one, why does childcare matter? Because a lot of women have to go work. I wish they didn't, but they do. Some women don't want to work. They want to stay home and take care of their kids, but they financially can't do it. That sucks. I feel bad. I wish every woman who wanted to stay home could stay home. That's not where we are. We have to accept that as true. I hope we move to a point where we don't have to worry about that. But now it's where it is. So childcare. Here is my worry about childcare. My worry about childcare is that we are having other people raise our kids, if not government raise our children. In the long run, is that going to be healthy? My worry is no. That is my worry. My worry is no. But whether or not, there's the point. People need help right now. I get it. Even though I'm unhappy, I get it. There are many ways we can deal with childcare. One of those is what I talked about before. This is actually a credit that you can give, contribution you can give to local people. You owe money to the state at the end of the year, whether it's through fines, fees, or taxation. Doesn't matter. You owe the money to the state. You can choose to take $250 of that money and give it to any non-government funded nonprofit in New York State. If it's in your county, local, it's double to $500. Why does that matter? We need childcare in my county. We need childcare in my city. Let's get a bunch of people together who are going to spend the money anyway, right? So it's not them donating. It's money going to the state anyway. Don't give it to the state. Put it in here to have better childcare. But Larry, we should have a policy for that, or we should have a program for that. If the programs fail and they're not good and the government's being bad to your kids, what's the punishment for government? More money. But if you give it to a nonprofit, not government funded, nonprofit that's being funded by people locally, you'll have control over it because you're giving it money. You will have control over your own children, which is what I'd like you to have. I'd like you to have control over your own children's childcare. Do you want to be religious? Not religious? Do you want it to be at a certain time, early in the morning, later, during the day, during the evening? You can have it. Do you want certain credentials for those people? You can have it. What matters to you and your people in your community, you can have. And I said fines and fees too. So you're getting speeding tickets. You will save money. Don't pay the state, pay them. Yes. You get a business fine for your business. Don't pay the state, pay them. Let the fines and fees that happen in your community stay in your damn community instead of going to Albany. So you screwed up and you got a speeding ticket and now you owe the state $150. The $150 goes to pay for your childcare instead. How about that? What if you're in an environment where childcare is good where you are? You're fine with it. Well, maybe you'd rather have something that takes care of elderly. Or maybe special needs is a big deal in your community. That's not good in your community. Do a special needs one, whatever works. This actually solves a problem and gives you, the parent, more control. And that's what I want. I want you to have more control. You can do it. Gene says, 14 years ago, my state taxed me out of business. Now my township is taxed me out of my home. Yes, it doesn't stop. But here's the issue. If you were in New York State, at least $500 of that could stay in your state, could stay in your county. That's something, right? That's something. Missy says, would you like to see Larry's real answers to legit problems in New York? You can read his policies on his website, LarrySharpe.com/policy. Yes, no, I've kept pushing over LarrySharpe.com. I have. Please go over there. Check it out. It does matter. Yes. So, and John says, just a quick thing with bail reform. The guy in Plattsburgh did multiple dash and dines. Every time he was arrested, shoplifted, arrested, jumped on me in a cab on a $25 ride and had him arrested. And every time he was booked and released with no bail, he finally skipped Plattsburgh and never did any time for his crimes. That was my point. That was my point. It should be first-time offenders. So the first time he did a dash and dine, look, you might be, in theory, a stupid teenager. I'm not saying this guy is, but you might be a stupid teenager who thinks a dash and dine is fun. Ha, ha, ha. That was fun, or whatever. You thought shoplifting was cool. Okay. You did it. You got arrested. It's your first time. You got booked. You got a mugshot. There's your shot. Did you learn from that? And sometimes you might. Sometimes, and you know, John, I'm sure you know people. I know people, same way. Where getting arrested, boy, that was the wake-up call. So if that's you, and if that guy or kid, I'm going to say guy, because you said guy, so, and that guy, he gets it and goes, my God, dining and dash is stupid. What was I thinking? Shoplifting was not cool. I'm an idiot. What was I thinking? He gets his shot. He gets to go back home, keep his job, plea or whatever, and get back to life and say, that was dumb. I'm never doing it again. Good luck. I hope he does that. That guy wouldn't have, right? I'm saying any guy. That guy wouldn't have. He'd have gone right back out and done it again. The second time he does dash and dine, you ain't getting out. That's how you fix bail reform. You fix it by not punishing poor people on their first time offense. So he would have spent time in jail for the second dash and dine. First one, he gets away with it, kind of not gets away, but doesn't have to go to jail for it. After that, you going. That's how you fix it. I hope that makes sense. Mother Nature says, corporations don't love you, but they do love your money. True. True. Absolutely true. Yes. Mike Voss says, Kansas City tried free buses. It failed. Eugene, Oregon tried social workers, police. It failed. California tried 20 minimum wage. It failed. I'm not sure that failed in California yet. Them progressive policies have been tried and they all failed, but I'll do it again. Well, because that's not real socialism, Mike. I'm kidding, obviously, but yeah, that's what I hear. So yeah, no. The point being is there are places where free buses have worked. There are places where social workers work. There are places where they work. I'm saying, why don't we allow, this is what you hear me bring all the time. People should be policed how they want to be policed. If you would rather, in certain areas of the country, our state specifically, you might want to rely really heavily on sheriffs. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Rely on the sheriff's department and deputies. Okay. You might go, no. My town or my city requires a police force. Hire a police force. I'm not mad either way. My point is we're trying to make it to where we have to have statewide fixing of the police force. No, localize it. Let people be policed as they want to be policed. If people think social workers in town A are going to be a good idea, let them try it. If it fails, Mike, then whatever. It's just them, their issues. They figure it out. We don't do it again. But maybe they find the way that social workers can work in New York State. I hope they do. They find that way. Others can copy. They haven't failed every time. Free buses have succeeded here or there. Let's find the right way in the right town. Maybe New York City is perfect for free buses. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's better in Utica. Maybe it's better in Rochester. But again, as we localize and test, we'll find out what works. So yes. John says, wintertime in New York, people definitely ride the buses to be warm. True. Yes, exactly right. So you have a bunch of people sitting on buses for free all day. Okay. Not that I don't want people to be warm, but I want buses to be able to be used. And if every bus is filled with people who are homeless trying to stay warm, that's not going to work. So you have to find an answer for that. You make it 25 cents and then find an answer for the homeless. One of the answers I mentioned is letting people build. Yeah, letting people build. That is one way. Bronna says, wow, Larry, the Google Roads thing you're talking about almost sounds like free market volunteerism. I know it almost does, doesn't it? Yes. Literally says, word in the street is Larry's doing a shorter Gov Shack at 12 noon on Wednesdays, called Noon New York again. That's only on Larry Sharpe, YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram. True. That rumor is true. It is Gov Shack noon. Gov Shack lunchtime. That is Wednesdays at noon right here on Larry Sharpe Properties. Please check them out if you can. It does matter. So, yes. All righty. I got so many of these. I appreciate it. Okay. I got that one. Martin said, I supported you since 2016. Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I need everyone I can get. So, yes. Mother Nature says, the damage from social child care in public schools is already done. Sadly, you are right. I'm hoping we can change that. I am hoping we can change that. Right? I think, yes, that's true. Say no to 1984 says, the only responsible child care strategy, keep the government as far away from your baby people as possible. That's my point, right? If we're in a world to where there are people who don't want to work but need to, obviously we want to make the state better, that people don't have to do that. So that this is an earlier point I brought, so that one salary could actually, deal with a family. That will be amazing, but we're not there yet. Hopefully we can get there. But if we can't and they have to work, I would like you to have as much control over your childcare as possible. And to your point, say no government involvement. So the money that you would give wouldn't go to government first. It goes directly from you to that place, whatever that place is. You submit a form online. They'd be whatever, and authorized. You'd have to have some ledger of what the nonprofits are. They have to agree to not be funded by the government. There's a list the government can have, but they're not funded by the government, and you can just give money directly to them. So I got a bunch of speeding tickets, and I owe like $250 on speeding tickets. Hopefully I have my license still. I'm not giving you the money to the state. I'm giving it to my local childcare facility. They get it. Boom. They make $250. What's that? What happens when 1,000 people do it? 10,000 people do it. Massive facility, right? And I'll go one step further. What if you have a special needs kid? How many special needs parents are unhappy with what New York State's doing? I mean, so many of them. It's not even funny. Imagine if all of a sudden you could put together a special needs childcare facility that you could fund with things that you already owe the government. It's almost like you can tell your taxes where to go. Huh? Weird, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Could be true. Yes. All right. So if I can grab here some more. Barna says, you never have to bat. If you let government raise your children, you get obedient slaves to the state. You're not wrong. Gene says, localize, localize, localize. Yes, yes, yes. That is correct. Yes. So, yeah, all right. Let's see here. Literally says, Larry, can you talk a little bit about the 2 lines you'll be on for the ballot and the whole process, etc.? Yes. All right. Those of you who know, I am trying something bold again. I am always trying something bold because it's the only way to make impact. And it's a gamble. And I've stopped working. I do this. It's what I do for a living. I now spend a lot. You see me last weekend. I was out. I'll be out in 2 weeks. Next week, I'm doing a Larry-thon next weekend. I'm raising more money if I can. I keep going. I'm calling people. This is what I do now. Okay. I am planning on being on 2 lines. On both the Libertarian Party line, which I just got the nomination last weekend, and the We the People Party line, which I hope to get next month. That they had nominated me already. Thank you again, Libertarians. And then coming up here, the We the People Party. We the People Party is the RFK Jr. Party that was here in New York that sadly couldn't get going because they couldn't get in the ballot because of absolute horribleness in our state. In any case, I plan to be on both of those. I get the nomination hopefully next week. When that happens, I'll be able to be on 2 lines. You might go, Larry, how can you be on 2 lines? If you live in New York, you know we have what's called fusion voting. Most states don't have it. We do. So that means you can be listed more than once on a ballot. Usually, Kathy Hochul, the Democrats, listed on 2 lines, the Working Families Party and the Democratic Party. And the Republican Party is usually listed on the Republican Party and the Conservative Party. So they get 2 lines each. Well, I want 2 lines too. So I'm going to get a Libertarian Party and the People Party. I'll be listed 2 times. And if it's listed 2 times, people can check on both of them. There's one of them, but both of them count all towards the total. That's how that works here in New York State. So I will have to literally go out there and make sure we get all those signatures. It will cost a lot of money. It will. Probably $250,000 for each one. Yes. They may go, Larry, it's a lot of money. The Democrats spend that money too? No, they're just magically on the ballot. Yes, magically they're on the ballot. Well, then the other $250,000 for the Libertarians and yeah, do Republicans do that? No. They're just on it. They're just on it. Magically. They're just on it. That's how that works. So yeah, that's how that works. It is utterly and totally unfair. But what I must do is get nominated now this year. And then next year in April, we begin the petitioning process, getting signatures. It will take time. It'll be a 6-week push that will probably cost $500,000. But we have to raise it. So I'm asking you to donate now so I can hit that mark and get that $3 million, and it'll be easy. If I can make that happen before April, easy day. Larry, $500,000 is a lot of money. It is. You're not wrong. But I've raised $500,000 twice already. Literally, the only people in the libertarian world, in the history of the Libertarian Party, every candidate who's raised more money than me as a candidate, only two, Joe Jorgensen and Gary Johnson. I've raised more money than every libertarian candidate since 1972. Now, spending, when Charles Koch ran, he spent more than me because he just gave the money. That's not raising the money. Raising the money, only Gary Johnson and Joe Jorgensen had raised more money than me. And if I do it right this year, I will probably raise more money than Joe Jorgensen, but I won't break Gary Johnson. He still is the man with $11 million. I hope I will raise more than Gary Johnson, but $11 million is a lot of money. I'm not sure I can do that. I hope so. So Gene says, how can you keep them from suing you off the ballot again? Well, they will sue me. There's no doubt. How do I keep them off from doing it? Because now I know how it works, Gene. 8 times I've learned all of my lessons. I know. Yes, I know. Martin says, speaking of being on 2 lines, do you think that will give Sliwa the edge being on the Republican Party and protect the animals? I don't. I wish it would. His idea of, for those of you who don't know, Sliwa has a second line. His line is protect the animals line. And it is a brilliant idea, Martin. I love the idea. Very well done. I don't think it's enough. I don't. Will it help him? Yeah, it will, but not enough. Sliwa's going to have to somehow get 35 to 40% of the vote. I don't know how he does that. Look, I hope so. It'd be great. I hope so. I can't see it. I can't see it. So, yeah. To Gene's point, I'm not afraid of being sued off the ballot. I'm not afraid of the lawsuits at all. We played that game. I now know. That is absolutely a good idea. I'm happy to have it. Why am I happy to have it? Because I want the fight. I do. So, all righty. Liberty says, as governor of New York, how can you incorporate a little Maha into New York? I can do a lot. Here is where Maha and libertarians overlap completely, and that is in medical freedom. Total overlap. Other things, some overlap, some don't, but that is a total overlap. So what I tell people, if you're a Maha person, what I will do in New York is I will guarantee you off the bat, I will always support medical freedom. But I'm going to go further. That's a generic term, so you feel comfortable. But here's actual thing I will actually do. I will support and push a constitutional amendment in New York State that will, again, go to our Constitution, New York State Constitution, based off the First Amendment, that will say lockdowns are against the law in New York State no matter what. No matter what. Now you might go, but wait a minute, what if there's a pandemic? Then people will have to voluntarily stay against the law. The First Amendment, people think of the First Amendment as freedom of speech. Okay, it's true, but it's also freedom of religion, freedom of association, freedom of petition to your government, freedom of the press, all those things, right? Lockdowns lock all of those down, and all of them. And I don't think the First Amendment said, the First Amendment, here's your rights unless I'm scared. I don't remember the unless I'm scared part. I don't remember that part. If that's in the Constitution, then maybe I'm wrong. But unless I misread it, I don't remember the unless I'm scared part. So I get it. You're scared. The government can recommend. The government can reward you if you do what it says. That can work. But punishing you and locking you down, no. 100% no. That is a very Maha thing, but it's also a very libertarian thing. There should be no lockdowns. If you just make it a law, the governor will go, I would do it, but emergency, so I'm going to ignore the law. It has to be a constitutional amendment to New York State Constitution linked directly to the First Amendment so that even our terrible judges will go, okay. Yeah, all right. I think that's one way. There are other ways, but I think that's something that I could immediately make Maha people feel happy about. So, guys, click the button known as like. I've asked you to do it many times because it does matter. Repost this if you could, whether that's on X, whether that's into a Facebook group or wherever it might be. Please do so. If you have not subscribed to this channel or page that you're watching on, please do so. If you're watching on X, click that subscribe button. Click follow me on X. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow me on Facebook. Watch me on YouTube channel. Please subscribe and click all notifications if you're on YouTube. It really does matter. Every little subscription matters. It keeps things going. In fact, if you haven't gone to Larry Sharpe YouTube and subscribed, you hate the children. Don't hate the children. Go subscribe to Larry Sharpe's YouTube page. It does matter. So you can watch on YouTube also, and we can get things moving more and more and more. It's very helpful. Last time I asked you guys, if you can donate, please do so. Every donation counts. As I said, one donation times 6 if you're in New York. Still good if you're not in New York. Every bit counts. If you can't do long-term, if you can't do a big chunk now, do it long-term. Look, Larry, I love you. I'd love to give you $250. I can't. I don't have it. Okay. Can you do $10 a month? $25 a month. Can you do that? Is that possible? Long-term matters. Per month helps tremendously if you can do so. Love it if you can. Larry, I would like a gift for donating. You may. LarrySharpe.com/shop. If you do that, you can pick up a hoodie. You can pick up a bumper sticker, and there they are. You can pick up a cool regular like Onions t-shirt, whatever you like. Hoodie, shirt, cool shirt, bumper sticker. We will have more coming up as we move forward. We're going to pick it up. Please pick it up. Love to have you do that. You donate, and you get a nice, cool little gift. Larry, I don't want to do any of that stuff, or I've already donated. Awesome. Volunteer. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Join the SEAL Team Sharpe. We need you desperately. Jump on board. It does matter. I appreciate all those things. I really do. Yes. Sinner 1984 says, God bless you, Larry. I love your Lockdown Amendment. I may have to break down and make a donation campaign just for that. It's not a bad idea, my friend. If you're going to donate, that's a good reason to do so. Yes, absolutely good reason to do so. Absolutely. So, Liberty Lady says, Gov Shack, Larrython, Policython will be on Larry Sharpe YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Larry Sharpe Gov is not the same as the Sharpe Way podcast. True, it is not the same for legal reasons, but it isn't the same. It is not. Absolutely, she is correct. So there will be a Larrython with a bunch of very cool people coming up here this Saturday. I will post that coming up here soon. You'll see that. A bunch of people, that'll be that. There'll be a Policython the week or two after that where I'll just do policy only. It'll be very geekish. So some of you like that, we'll do that also. Otherwise, you will see the Gov Shack coming up here on Wednesday, 2 days from now at noon. It will be the Gov Shack lunchtime. That's what will be. We'll see it there too. I appreciate that if we can. I do like the idea of that. I think some people will enjoy that. Last thing I'll bring up, remember, after the live is done, please come back and comment so that Mr. Rhythm, Algorithm, will watch and enjoy so that we can keep this moving forward. Guys, we'll say thank you so much for giving me your time. Support me to the best of your ability. You see what I'm doing. No one's going to outwork me for this. No one. I will see you all very soon.